Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. I am super excited, as usual, to be back here with you guys and bring you another very special guest. And that is because, judging by the title of the video, you must be aware that today, Brielle Simmons is here with us, our reigning Miss Earth USA 2022. And of course, during this conversation, we're going to get to know her, her projects, her advocacy, and everything else surrounding her Miss Earth journey. As you guys know, Miss Earth USA as an organization has been excelling for the past few years when it comes to the international competition. In 2020, Lindsey Coffey won the Miss Earth crown for the USA. And in 2021, Marisa Butler became Miss Earth Air, one of the elemental queens, also representing the USA, of course. So it is safe to say that Brielle this year has a big responsibility between her hands. But luckily, she also has a lot of support, a lot of love, and people who want to see her go far and excel in the competition. So, of course, my only hope with this interaction is that you guys, get to know her better, that you can support her as well and the organization, both the national in the USA and the international organization. And also, if you enjoyed this video, find some sort of value, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and be part of the conversation in the live chat. Now, I know that's a lot of information, talking a lot, so I'm just gonna roll the intro and I'll be right back with our beautiful Brielle. All right, everyone, please give a round of applause for our very special guest, our Miss Earth USA. How are you doing, my dear?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Of course. I mean, I just want to start by saying that it's such an honor, such a pleasure to have you here with me. I mean, with us, with all of our viewers today.
Hi,
So I hope that
everyone.
you feel very welcome.
Yes, I do. Thank
Yes.
you.
Of course, no problem. So yes, let's take a moment just to address the audience. I just want to say hello, everyone, to the viewers. I see Salvatore in the live chat as well as the Miss Earth USA YouTube channel as well. So
Ah,
we're going to bring you some value today during this conversation. Um, so, Brielle, before we get into, like any interview questions whatsoever, let me start by asking you, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I mean, it's been a few exciting weeks. So, can you tell me about your journey so far?
yes. Well, I'm feeling very excited. As I was talking to you a bit before, I was like, I'm really excited for Miss Earth and competing in the Philippines. This will be my first time going to the Philippines, and I'm very
Wow.
excited to see the beautiful islands. And I hear so many amazing, wonderful things about the Philippines and the
Mm-hmm.
people. And I'm just really excited for that as well. And as far as prep for Miss Earth, I've been working every single day, nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that, yeah, it's something that, I'm very passionate about. And I just want to present my best when I go to the Philippines and throughout my entire reign as Miss Earth USA and even competing for the title of Miss Earth. And I know in order to do that, I really have to stay disciplined, stay focused, and that takes a lot of work. But
Yes.
I'm with it every step of the way. So I'm excited about that as well.
Absolutely. I'm sure that this is going to be an incredible journey for you. And as you said, I mean, going to the Philippines is going to be amazing itself, but and also the fact that you're competing at Miss Earth, one of the biggest pageants in the world, and simultaneously Filipinos being so, passionate about pageantry, supporting their queens, and of course the environment as well. So it's like everything coming together is going to be perfect.
Yes, and I think that makes it even more exciting as well, just seeing how passionate the fans are and
Hmm.
how supportive they've been, especially me in this entire journey is something I'm very grateful for as well.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning, so you'll see.
Thank
um,
you.
so before we proceed, I mean, I always think of the people who are watching us live, and some of them might know you, some of them might be seeing you for the very first time. So can you give us maybe like a few fun facts about you and things that they should know about
Yes, so I'm going to start off with reintroducing myself. My name is Brielle Simmons, Miss Earth USA. And I like to describe myself as someone who's very ambitious. And as for me, I am the creative director and co-founder of a nonprofit organization. And we have been able to provide eco-friendly resources to unhoused communities. And I really wanted to do that as a creative director and really create different projects because it's something that unfortunately I've known a lot of people who have been unhoused and just wanting to find a way to help them.
Mhm,
And thankfully, through research, I was able to find a correlation between homelessness and the environment. And that's how
mhm.
I was able to create a lot of different projects within my nonprofit. So that's my nonprofit hat, creative director, co founder hat that I wear. But I also wear a student hat. Yes, yeah, I'm busy, but I enjoy it. So, as a student, I'm studying right now. I'm a legal studies major with a focus in environmental law. And one day I'm going to practice environmental law and really help people who are experiencing environmental injustices. That's
Mhm.
something that I'm very passionate about. And I also wear my Miss Earth USA crown. I'm going to say the crown this time instead of the hat. And I
Yes.
wear that very, very proudly. I love representing the United States of America. I have been able to travel throughout the United States, seeing different things when it comes to the environment. And one cool thing about the United States is that we have a lot of different geography. Like we're
Mhm.
very diverse, a lot of diverse biodiversity. So
Yes.
that's something that I'm very proud of with my country. So yeah, that's a little bit about me in a
Absolutely. Well,
nutshell.
thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to be talking about all of those things during the interview. And I'm going to tell you, just being fully transparent, it's always mind blowing for me to what extent, especially girls from like the system for Miss Earth, they have to do so many different things. It's not just about the beauty, it's not just about the preparation. It's all about having studied and knowing your facts, and at the same time, as you say, being a student, being a beauty queen, having so many different things going on at the same time. So props to you, and I'm excited to find out a little bit more about all of those things during our conversation.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so just a quick shout out to everyone who is just joining us now. I see you guys in the chat. So everyone sending you love, Brielle. So we're
Oh, thank
excited for you.
you. Yes.
Okay, so when we think of Miss Earth, the actual pageant is just a few days away. Actually, the online activities will soon begin. So can you
Yes.
tell us, when you think of all of that and all of the sacrifices and work and blood, sweat, and tears that went into this, how does that make you feel to know that you are so close, you know, to start a journey that might change the rest of your life?
Wow. Well, for me, it makes me feel very, very proud just to know where I've come from and really my family as well. I've been very, very grateful for their support. And it just makes me very proud to know that I'm about to go to a foreign country, travel internationally to really represent the United States. It makes me happy. All of the work, all of their sacrifices that I've really been like putting in, all the people who have been genuinely supporting me and really putting in the work as well. It just makes me proud. There's actually a Maya Angelou quote, and it says, "I come as one, but I stand as 10,000." And I'm really embodying that when I go to the Philippines, and that really just makes me proud.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. One of the things that I find fascinating about you is that, I mean, based on my research, this is not your first pageant. As you mentioned earlier, you actually placed within the top four at the Teen Miss Earth USA back in 2019. So, can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that experience? How was it competing at a teen competition?
Oh, well, of course, I really enjoyed it. So that was in 2019, and I was, I think, 17, about to turn 18. And
Mhm,
even back then, I knew I really wanted to compete in the Miss Earth system because I love the advocacy,
mhm,
especially being an advocate for the environment. I was already very vocal about advocating for the environment. And I said, this system just seems perfect. I want to be a part of it. Well, I competed in 2019 and I placed first runner up. That was in Las Vegas. And that was actually my first time flying. And that in
Wow.
itself was, yes, it was my first time flying. And that in itself was a journey, but I'm very grateful for every step of the way, especially competing in Las Vegas. That was my first time being in Las Vegas as well. And throughout that journey, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about
Mhm,
myself. I learned about how disciplined I could be. And I think that
mhm,
was a really rewarding experience. And I knew I wanted to come back and compete as a Miss. And the
mhm.
opportunity came, and I said, I'm going to do this. And I competed for the title of Miss Earth USA in January. And it's been a wonderful ride, honestly, ever since. A lot of lessons that I've learned, but I'm grateful for it.
Yes, I can only imagine. And one of the things that I actually wanted to ask you, because personally, I mean, on my channel, all across my social media, I cover a lot of different pageants, but I have never really covered a teen pageant. So if I asked you, what is the main difference, at least like in your opinion, right, your perception, what's the main difference between a teen pageant and a Miss pageant?
I think the main difference, honestly, is for me personally, it was maturity because
Mhm,
even that was not a long time because it was 2019 to 2021 is when I really started preparing. So that was about 2 years.
mhm.
And I think the main difference for me was growing, learning a lot of different
Yes.
lessons, even competing as a teen in 2019 and transitioning into the Miss. It's it's a lot of work because you're competing against women who are 27, 28, and you could be on the younger spectrum, but I also think too like it all boils down to how mature you are and
Mhm.
can that come across because when you're competing for huge titles such as Miss Earth USA and even Miss Earth, that's a huge responsibility. And do you
Indeed.
have the maturity level to really be able to do the work and to do the hard work of a title holder? And that's the
Mhm.
lesson that I already knew as a teen, but really going in and doing the work as a Miss, that's really the lesson that I learned in that short amount of time from 2019 to 2021. And as Miss Earth USA, I believe I've been able to really demonstrate my maturity level
Mhm.
as well as really show how passionate I am about the environment, about advocating for environmental education as well. And I'm very proud of myself for that and grateful as well.
Of course, absolutely. And it makes absolute sense. When you're explaining it like that, I feel like growth, it's the perfect way to describe it. So thank you so much for that. And so as I was saying, something that I also think is very interesting about you is that it seems to me, I mean, from the outside, I see it as a way of loyalty, to the Miss Earth pageant system, because you had the opportunity to compete within the teen system. Now you're going to the Miss system and actually representing the country nationally. So why Miss Earth? You could have tried like any other pageant, but you stayed within the same environment.
Yes. Well, I think for me right now, in this point of my life, like I said, I've always been very passionate about advocating for our environment. But
Hmm.
right now, I really do believe I'm in a position to really represent the United States at the Miss Earth pageant and honestly, the entire globe as well. And that's something that I really did want to do, or that's why I continued with the Miss Earth system because of the advocacy. It's really important to me that everybody receives equal access to even like clean water, clean air. These are real global issues that people are facing. And I believe as Miss Earth, I can really help people and advocate as well. So that's why I really wanted to continue with the Miss Earth system because it's a wonderful platform to really be able to advocate for people who are experiencing environmental injustices as well as our planet as well. So that in a nutshell is kind of why I wanted to stay with the Miss Earth system because
Hmm.
it's a lot of work, but I do believe I'm a really good candidate to do the work.
You are. I agree. And actually, I also agree with everything that you said. I always say it, and I'll say it again here on this channel. We are fans of Miss Earth, of the system, of what they stand for.
Yay.
We love it. So I
That's
love to see that
awesome.
passion as well.
Yes.
Um, so talking about passion, can you tell me where does that passion come from? Because sometimes, we're very influenced by our families or in school, what we watch, on like television or, whatever access to media that we had growing up. So where did that come from for you?
Yes, for me, it really came from my grandparents. And growing up, I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house because my parents worked, and really it was just like my brother and I and my cousins, but they were a little bit older. So by the time they were like older, went off to college, it was really my brother and I spending a lot of summers at our grandparents' house. And my granddad, he really taught me how to nurture and care for our land, which is something that I'm very, very passionate about, as you can see. And I'm very grateful for that he was able to teach me certain farming techniques and how to
Mhm.
plant that he learned from his parents. And through his multi-generational farming, I was
Yes.
able to really, really develop a passion for the environment. And as well too, I'm able to now use the certain techniques that he taught me. So like how to plant, I know how to plant fruits and vegetables. I was able to use that in my environmental education program to teach children how to plant their own fruit and vegetable gardens. And I think that's really beautiful. Never in a million years, when I was young, like 9 years old, 10 years old, just spending time with my grandparents, my granddad specifically in his yard. Never in a million years did I think I was going to be able to use that knowledge to teach children who may not have ever learned that. And that's something that I'm very grateful about, because you never know the places that God is going to take you. And I just
Mhm.
did not think that like growing no because like growing up, I'm just like, oh, okay, like I like spending time with my granddad. I love the environment, so of course I'm gonna go out and help him plant. But being able to use that knowledge and to help children as well gain a knowledge and love and develop a love for the environment is very rewarding.
Yes, of course. I think that on behalf of everyone, we have to thank your grandparents because they did
Yes.
such an amazing job.
Thank you. Yes, I love my granddad. He's still alive. He's literally my best friend. I call him all the
Aw,
time.
cute.
Yes,
Send him a big hug from all of us.
I will. He'll
Yes,
appreciate that.
of course. He
Yes.
must be so proud of you, of course. So I believe, as you said, like having this passion since such a young age and taking steps towards, becoming an advocate for the environment, participating in eco-oriented pageants as well. That's amazing. But in my opinion, at some point, there must be a shift. When did that shift happen for you that you went from like having an interest in the environment or like having this passion to actually wanting to become an advocate, like a spokesperson for the environment?
That's a great question. I love that question. For me, it really happened in high school. Like I was kind of mentioning earlier, when a family member of mine, a really close person to me, unfortunately started experiencing homelessness. And it broke my heart because I was in high school and I felt like I couldn't provide them with the resources that I
Mhm.
like for to help them. And really going through that and researching that there is a correlation between homelessness and the environment, that's where I was able to say, whoa, wait a minute, I think I can really use my voice and advocate for not only the environment, but unhoused communities as well, because environmental pressures really affects unhoused communities, people experiencing poverty. And I wanted to use that correlation, the correlation that I found, and really just help, because I
Mm,
think really compassion is a really big part of humanity. And if we just try to help one another, then I think this world will continue to really go on the up and hopefully can be a better place for future generations.
of course, I love that. And I think that it's such a relatable message, the fact that there was such a personal reason for you to wanting to get involved and to talk about it. And I feel like that's also the best way to, engage people around us and inspire them to do similar things, right? So thank you for
Yes.
standing up.
Yes, I definitely agree. Really, the environment is interrelated to almost everything. And
Mhm.
if you can just find that correlation, then you definitely can help the environment.
Yes, of course. Now, Brielle, I would like to talk a little bit about the Miss Earth USA pageant that just happened
Okay.
so earlier this year. So a lot of people, for those of us who followed the pageant, we might recall during that ceremony you ended up as a second runner-up, if I'm not mistaken, and later
Yes.
on you were appointed, right? So
Yes.
I believe that sometimes there's certain things that are just meant to happen. That crown for some reason came back to you. So, can you tell me what was your first reaction when you found out that you were going to represent the USA at Miss Earth?
Wow. My first reaction was literally wow. That was my first reaction. It's like, wow. When I received the call, I was like kind of speechless in a sense because there was so many things that was like so many emotions that I had. It was like
Hmm.
really something that you really wanted. And when during the crowning of Miss Earth USA, I was really content. I was at peace because I said, I prayed. I was like, God, do your thing. At the end of the day, like I can only really show up and try my best, but just let God do his thing. And when I received that call, like I said, I was kind of speechless because I was just like, wow, like I just did it's kind of interesting because it's a dream that you've always had. Like I said, I competed in the Miss Earth system when I was a teen, and placing first runner up, I was a bit disappointed, but then going back and placing or receiving the title of Miss Earth USA Water, I was content and I was grateful for the title and really
Hmm.
seeing how now I am Miss Earth USA. Like I said, it's really a story that only God can write because I just would have never expected. It's a dream that I always had. And really just seeing the dream kind of unfold it's a blessing. That's really how I can really define it as just a blessing for me, yes.
Absolutely. I can only imagine, what was going through your mind at that point. And as you said, something that only God can decide, if it's meant to be, it will happen. And it ended up happening for you. And we're so happy for you.
Thank
Um,
you.
Of course. So let me take you back to that particular moment, okay? Let's say like you just got the phone call, you got the news. Oh my God, I am Miss Earth USA. What is the first thing that came to mind that you wanted to do with the platform, with the title? Now that you had, you were pretty much like the Miss Earth Queen in the entire USA. So what was the first thing that you wanted to commit to?
For me, it was really bringing environmental education to children all across the country.
Mhm.
And that's something that I have been able to do as Miss Earth USA. I was in Florida, in Miami, the Fort Lauderdale area, and I was able to participate in a coastal cleanup with
Mhm.
children. And we were able to clean up the beach and really talk about what it means to be environmentally aware and to we also talked about the safety of a beach cleanup, what to look for, what to not look for, and we discussed the 5 R's. And I know that was my plan to do as Miss Earth USA is to really give children equal access or equal opportunity to access environmental education. And that's something that I have been able to do, and that's something that I really want to continue to do as throughout my reign, and really even in the Philippines. Like if there's an opportunity, I would love that. I would love that because that's something that I'm very passionate about. Education is really important because I really think through education, people can receive equal opportunities, and just making sure that children have equal access to quality education is very important. And that's something that I really wanted to do throughout my reign as Miss Earth USA.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Let me ask you as well, because I do believe that individually we all have the power to have an impact in our neighborhoods, in our states, whatever you want. But of course, having this title and working hand in hand with the national organization must have certain advantages. Like you have more reach, more visibility. So, what would you say has been the highlight of collaborating as well with the Miss Earth USA organization?
I definitely think traveling.
Hmm.
I'm very grateful for that my directors give me opportunities to travel throughout the United States. And that's something that I'm very grateful for and I don't take for granted. I went to Kentucky the first time it was my first time going to Kentucky, and I had an opportunity to visit the Miss Earth Kentucky, Missouri state pageant.
Hmm.
And that was really fun. I actually kind of went on a road trip and just to see the different mountains, yes, in a landscape throughout the United States. And just going through that was very rewarding. I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely. That must be so exciting. I mean, I have never been to the USA, but like when it comes to the landscape and like the
Yes,
geography, there's so much to see. So it's on my bucket list for sure.
you definitely have to come. I would love to give you a tour. I'm based out of like the East Coast,
Yes.
but let me know when you come. We can meet up.
I'm a hola. I'm
Yes.
a hola.
Okay. Yes, please
Perfect.
do.
Thank you so much. You're the sweetest. So, one thing that you mentioned earlier that I think it's so interesting is that you actually you are the co-founder of your own nonprofit, and you do a lot of work through that. Can you tell me how did you come up with the idea to start, a nonprofit and get involved, through that sense? Because I feel like most people don't even know how to start a nonprofit. So how did you go through all of that process?
Back in high school, it really goes back to the story when my relative became homeless or started experiencing homelessness.
Hmm.
I just really wanted to find a way to help. But
Yes.
through that, I was really able to and research really how to start a nonprofit organization. And I wanted to start the nonprofit organization because I thought to myself, nobody should really be experiencing this. This is really
Mm.
sad. There has to be something that I personally can do to really help. And not only that, but really provide resources to people who are experiencing this, because I just didn't want to see anybody really go through that. And there's really only so much you can do as an individual, but just being able to put in that work, if I'm able to just touch one person, then
Hmm.
for me that's a lot. And that's
Yeah.
really how I kind of came up with the nonprofit organization. And in high school, I was a senior in high school, and it was not easy. I was in the library, I was researching, I was reading books, and now even as the co-founder, it still has its challenges. But
Hmm.
really, just for me personally, just really being dedicated
Hmm.
has really helped me on this journey of being the co-founder and creative director of my nonprofit organization.
Of course. So if you had to give like perhaps a piece of advice to someone, who might be in a similar situation and they would like as well to, take action and start a nonprofit, what would be like the best way to start that you will tell them? Is it like research? Is it like looking for resources in their states? How do we go about it?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say research, because when you're starting a nonprofit, there are certain guidelines that you have to meet, and especially within the states, that you have to meet both on a state level but also on a federal level. So I would say really starting there, like your research, and you have to be able to write this thing in the states called the Articles of Incorporation.
Yeah.
So you have to really know specifically what you want to do with your nonprofit and being
Hmm.
able to communicate that. I think that's the place to start. And the best way to do that is honestly by researching. research,
Mhm.
research, research. Because it's going to take a lot of research and a lot of patience because you are going to be filling out a lot of paperwork. That's
Absolutely.
that's my best advice for starting a nonprofit.
There you go, everyone. Start doing the research and get ready for the paperwork. But it's all worth it.
Yes, it
That's the most
is.
important.
Yeah.
So I'm going to connect that question, to something that I think is so important. When we look at it, Brielle, so you're really young as well. You're 21 years old. Um, and I think that to a certain advantage, that is actually an advantage, right? Because you have this ability to connect with the younger generation. And, we always say that, the youth are the future, but in this case, it's quite literally, because all of the consequences and the climate change and all of the phenomena that we are seeing in today's world, it's that generation that will be mainly impacted, right? So, what do you think is the best way to inspire the younger generation, to help them to become like spokespersons, leaders, and champions for the environment? That was a long question, huh?
No, I was about to say, I love that question. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yes, I definitely think giving them the right skills and also giving them confidence or instilling in them confidence, I think that's a great way to start because a child, they may know that they have something that they're very passionate about and something that they want to do. But if
Mhm.
they're feeling bad or just they think that they can't do it, I really do think really inspiring them, encouraging them, like, you can do this. You're good enough. Like, no one is really on like a bad level. So I really do think that you really, by encouraging our children and giving them the right resources and the right skills and education, then I really do believe that they can really lead our world.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that 100%. Well, I'm actually just going to make this a little bit more interactive now. So I will bring some
Oh
of the
yeah.
questions that our viewers have been sending for you. I see
Oh
like a couple.
nice. Okay.
Yes. So here we have Salvatore, who actually is my collaborator for this show. So we write
Oh
the questions
hi.
together, we do the research. Salvatore is here with us. So he's asking, how are you preparing for the Philippines? Have you learned a few Filipino words? Can you share them with us if you have it, if you have learned any of them, of course.
Yes, okay. I am preparing for the Philippines in a lot of different ways. Well, first, I know the type of, well, here in the United States, it's getting really cold now. I think today was maybe like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but I know when I'm traveling to the Philippines that it's not going to be that cold. So, really finding clothes fit for the weather is one way I've been preparing for the Philippines. And have I learned a few Filipino words? A little bit, but I'm still learning and I'm still processing that and really learning a bit more about the Filipino culture is something that I'm very excited about. And will I share them with you all? I think I'm going to save it for the Philippines. It's going to be a surprise when I get to the Philippines.
That's a good strategy. Well, I'm gonna teach you your first Filipino word, and that's gonna
Okay.
be charot.
Oh,
Charot. Do you know what that means?
no.
That is the equivalent of just kidding, because you will
Oh,
know that Filipinos have a huge sense of humor.
okay.
So you will hear that a lot. Charot, charot, charot.
Okay. That's good to
Okay.
know.
Let me see. I had another question around here that I wanted to ask you. Okay. So, question. You are using social media for awareness, like cleaning beaches, volunteering with earth cleanups with different organizations. What way has this, sorry, in what way has this shaped your view on the environment? So, after all of the work that you have been doing, how has that shaped your perception of it?
That's a great question. For me personally, it has really shown me that there is still a lot of work that we need to do. And unfortunately, we really don't have much time left. And I really do think by prioritizing our environment and the health of our environment, by participating in beach cleanups and really using social media as a tool and a platform to inspire others that they really can get out in their communities and just strive to make a difference really when it comes to our environment and prioritizing our health.
Of course, I agree with you 100%. And also, I think that by doing the work, it's really how you get to learn more, how you get to experience, and how you can also inspire other people around you. So you're on the right path, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Of course. We also let's talk a little bit about the preparation for Miss Earth, right? I think that so far we have talked about, all of the effort and the study that goes into it. You have to really be on top of your facts, but also, I mean, it's a beauty pageant at the end of the day as well. So, we have like the swimsuit competitions, we have the evening gowns, we have the pasarela walks, and a lot of things. So, in what areas have you been focusing for your preparation?
In all of the areas. I've been really preparing for the Miss Earth competition and really every single area. That's by practicing my walk and going over different facts, like you were saying. And also, too, for me, mental preparation is equally as important as the physical preparation that you're putting into the competition, really, because at the end of the day, are you fit? Are you ready to be a international title holder? And for me personally, I've really been doing the work when it comes to the mental preparation for that.
That's exactly what I like to hear. I'm preparing in all aspects. I
Yes.
love that. I love that because we need a queen who is, overall strong in all senses. So I love that.
Yes.
Um, so, mm, 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 mm. Okay. Which competition are you looking forward the most, and why? As we said, like, we have different categories and different activities as well. So which one are you mostly looking forward?
Ooh, okay. I know there's a cultural gala this year for the Miss Earth
Mhm.
competition, and I'm very excited to attend that. But I'm also really excited to be able to walk on stage. That's in itself is really exciting for me. Being able to walk on an international stage. Oh my goodness, I'm really excited about that. But I can even go back to the intelligence round as well, being able to
Mm,
communicate my passion about the environment and my platform, which is my nonprofit and environmental education, is something that I'm equally excited about. So I can really say I'm excited about everything. Like when I said I'm excited, like I'm genuinely excited for this competition. And I know it'll be a really, really great experience for me. And I'm just really excited about that.
oh, that's so cute. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. One of the things that I mentioned in the beginning of the interview during my intro actually was that the United States have been excelling at Miss Earth for the past few years.
Yes.
So, going into the competition, into the pageant, have you received any piece of advice from your previous sisters, from your previous title holders in the national level, and what have they shared with you?
Yes, I've received advice from Marisa Butler, who is our current Miss Earth Air, and Marisa has been a great help for me, and I really do genuinely appreciate that. So, Marisa, if you're watching, thank you. And a
Thank you,
couple
girl.
things that Marisa, yes, she's awesome. A couple of things that Marisa has shared with me is to really take in the moment.
Hmm.
Really, like when you're going, there's going to be a lot of prep. She told me this as well, competing for the title of Miss Earth. You're going to be doing a lot of prep, and just being able to go there and really, and or even when you're after the experience is over, just looking back on it, it's something that you really want to be proud of yourself for, and thinking about that as you're putting in all of the hard work, because it is a lot of hard work, and you really want to stay motivated, and constantly thinking about that really helps me as well. And I also
Amazing.
talk with Corinne, and Corinne has been very helpful for me as well as Andrea. They've really been helping, and I'm very grateful for that.
Amazing. We love that. We love a strong sisterhood.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
We're heading now towards the last part of the interview, so I still have probably three more questions for you. But
Okay.
this next one is something that I like to ask to pretty much all of the queens, especially the Miss Earth queens that come here on my channel, because I like to hear their take on it. And it's a simple question: why is Miss Earth still relevant in 2022?
That's a great question. I all your questions are really great. But Miss Earth is relevant in 2022 for many different reasons, but primarily I would say definitely for the advocacy. Like I said, our climate window is really, really short. We don't have a lot of time to really change what's going on in our environment. And I really do think with the title of Miss Earth or even the Miss Earth organization, it really inspires people all across the world to really go out and to advocate for the environment. And I do believe that Miss Earth, just the advocacy in itself, is very, very, very important in today's age, and I think it's always been important. But I definitely do believe it's going to be very important in the coming years as well.
Agreed. I 100%, 200% even. I agree with everything that you have said. So I want you to take all of those things into consideration. So think about that answer. So solid, so true, what you just shared with me. And tell me, why should you be our next Miss Earth?
I should be the next Miss Earth because, like I said, I'm very passionate about protecting our environment. I have the education to really advocate for our environment. And as Miss Earth, I really do plan on teaching people and teaching children all across the world really on how to care for our environment. And I really do think environmental education is very important. And I know as Miss Earth, I can really partner with other organizations to provide environmental education to communities all across the world, no matter their socioeconomic background. And that's something that I want to do as Miss Earth. And I'm very excited for that opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. I had
Thank
so much
you.
fun, and it's such a pleasing experience to have this conversation with you.
Oh,
Before I
thank
let
you.
you go, I just want to
Yes.
share some of the comments that our viewers have been leaving here for you since the beginning. So, just a few of them. So, our
Okay.
friend Virgilia says she'll do good.
Oh,
Very,
thank
very
you.
smart. My friend Lane is saying, "I love her angelic smile." I
Oh,
agree. Isn't
thank
she
you.
beautiful, everyone? Yes, absolutely. So many people saying even Charot. Do you
Oh,
remember
yes.
that? Don't forget it, okay?
Yes, thing. I remember.
Yes. And so, Brielle, the last thing I wanted to ask you, and this is really, for you and for your upcoming journey as well. So, how can we support you on your journey? The viewers, the one who will rewatch this later, where can we find you on social media, help you with your projects and everything? Please tell us.
Oh, yes. You all can follow me on Instagram at Brielle, SOOBRIELLE. You can also follow me on Facebook, which is Brielle Simmons. And you can also follow me throughout my reign on the Miss Earth USA Instagram page, as well as on the Miss Earth USA Facebook page, and really just share and interact with my pages. I do respond to my comments, I read everything. So that's a really good way to support me if you want to. And yeah, just continue following my journey. I'm very grateful if you do. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that.
Of course. Please, everyone, go ahead and do that. I will leave all of the links in the description down below right after the live stream. But please do go and find her and follow. So before we go, I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers for staying with us until the end. For those who will rewatch the video as well, thank you so much. I want to thank the Miss Earth USA organization as well for being so grateful, so graceful, and helping us put all of this together. And to you,
Yeah.
Brielle, of course, for your time and being so generous during this interview. I wish you
Oh,
nothing
thank you
but the
so
best,
much. Thank
of
you.
course. you're going to
Yes.
shine at Miss Earth, and I'm really looking forward for your journey. So keep it up, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I was really, really happy to chat with everyone and really chat with you and see everybody's comments. Thank you all for the support and thank you for this wonderful conversation.
Of course, anytime. So thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next time with more interviews and more content. And take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.